Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's lecture where we'll be talking about the way in which women are portrayed in advertisements. Before we start this lecture, let me ask you a very basic question. What is the average number of advertisements that you see on a day to day basis? Just think about how many number of ads that you saw today. Give me a rough number. If your answer was, let's say, 20 or 30 or even 50, you're probably wrong. If your answer was in the hundreds, you're still very likely to be wrong. On an average, an individual sees somewhere between 4,000 to 10,000 advertisements each day. And this is backed up by many researches. We are talking about posters, banners, your mobile notifications. We are flooded by advertising content all around us. And these content can have very strong impact on us. I'm not just talking about the impact it can have on the branded messages. It can have on our perception about brands and the way we look at products, but it can also have a very strong impact on the way we look at the society and the world in general. So this is what we are going to talk about. So let me give you an imaginary scenario. Let's say you come from a very different planet and you know nothing about the world we live in. Just imagine your idea about this world is going to be shaped through the advertisements and other media related content that you watch. So, what would you think about this world, and what would you think about the women in this world? So, you're probably going to think that the women in this world are very self obsessed. They're obsessed about their physical appearances. And inside the household, their only duty is to take care of the domestic chores, take care of the husband and the children. And they're very happy to do this. And when they get out, the very few instances when they get out, they probably end up in some problem or the other, and they require a man to save them. This is something that we are doing to the children, our children. Imagine our children during their growing ages, they are also bombarded by so many different advertising content which tells them and insists the same content to them. On an average, a 6-month-old baby is already capable of consuming advertising content and consuming and recognizing logos. We need to change the current portrayal of advertisements when it comes to women, and we need to change the gendered content in it so that we can shape the future in a very positive manner when it comes to the way women and men are portrayed. So let's start and let's look at few examples of advertisements where we will see different life stages, people in different life stages, and how advertisements portray them. So the first advertisement here is that of a skincare product for babies. And it's very difficult for us to guess whether this is a male child or a female child. There's not much of gendered content, even though the product is colored in blue. I mean, even though the layout has a lot of blues, we have nothing to prove that it is a male child. Similarly, in this next advertisement for Pampers, we see the baby and we don't see any gendered content here. So this shows that there's not a lot of gendered content when it comes to the portrayal of children, when it comes to the portrayal of babies. The next ad is that of a boy, and we can already see a lot of gendered content in this advertisement. If you see, the boy is wearing a blue colored t-shirt, and this is an advertisement for a motor company, so you know the brand Hero. So they're associating a motor company with a boy, with a young boy. And you see that this boy is playing football. So in most advertisements which show as young boys, we see them always doing some sort of an adventurous task. And this is an example for that. Similarly, next is an example for an advertisement where we see a little boy playing with Lego. So again, associating young boys with intellect. Again, this is a classic example of how boys also need to be rugged. And this is seen in the way in which the boy is dressed up, starting from his hairstyle to the accessories that he wears and to the clothes that he is wearing. Contrastingly, when we see advertisements portraying women, women are usually shown playing with, I mean, when I say women, when we see advertisement with little girls, girls are usually shown playing with toys. And these are not just any toys, but toys like Barbie, which again emphasize that the role of a woman is to take care of people, is to nurture people. So the same message is insisted in this advertisement. In this advertisement, we see this little girl playing in her own fantasy. So she is also in her own adventure. But the sad part is when the adventure of the guys, the boys, are very true. When it comes to our girls, the adventure is still in fantasy. And you can see the usage of colors, the colors which are traditionally associated with women, like pink and purple. These are the major colors, and the little girl is also dressed up in pink. Again, a gendered television advertisement for showcasing a drastic difference when it comes to the portrayal of little girls and boys. An advertisement for the brand Kinder Joy. So we are moving on, and when you look at young men are most likely to be hypersexualized, and this ad from Calvin Klein is a very classic example. So the same is the case for young women too. Young women in their early 20s are shown in the way that their body parts are hyper focused and their sexuality seems to be the focus of the entire advertisement. When we look at the portrayal of men in their 40s or in their late 30s, we see that there is a difference in the portrayal. From the focus on sexuality is right now shifting towards the focus on success and what they associate success with. So this is an advertisement for a watch brand, but you see that this man is dressed up in a luxurious suit and he has a luxury car very right behind him. This shows that success is directly associated with money, and man of this age group, they are judged based on the money that they possess. So a very similar advertisement, an ad for watches, women's watches, but we see a very, very sharp difference here. When success is associated with money, here, on the other hand, when we look at women in their 40s and 50s, even in that age, they seem to be sexualized. So you see that this girl, this lady, seems to be wearing only a coat, or at least it looks like she's wearing only a coat, trying to increase that desire, sexual desire, when we look at the advertisement. So when we look at the portrayal of older women, we see that women are still associated with gendered role. So if you look at the content here, only a lucky few would ever taste grandma's spicy ginger cookie. So they are talking about basically a recipe of hers, and this is again associating women with household chores, women with cooking, and this seems to be the issue even after. So women in the beginning, they are hypersexualized. Even in the middle age, they tend to be hypersexualized. Even in the old age, there's a lot of gendered stereotype. They still tend to be associated with domestic concepts. So moving on, we'll get to the core of today's subject. So we'll talk about the different issues when it comes to the portrayal of women. So the first issue that we are going to talk about is the gendered role. So most probably women in advertisements are shown taking up a lot of gendered roles. When I say gendered roles, they are shown doing domestic chores. So starting from cooking to cleaning. So everything, all the chores inside the household are shown only to be done by women. And when there are fewer men, they are just playing very passive roles in these advertisements. So they're shown as caring mothers, loving mothers who would do anything, who would go to any extreme to protect their children or to safeguard their family. So this is an advertisement, a very popular advertisement for the brand Hoover, where the tagline says, I mean, the headline says, you'll be happier with a Hoover. So this woman is not just shown to be doing household chores, but they tell her that with this product, she'll be very happy doing the same chore. And this is a classic example from a very popular television commercial. So this woman, she is seems to be a very talented cook, and she can make multiple number of dishes instantly and quickly with the brand of oil that the ad is trying to sell. This is an ad for this brand called Mr. Clean, ironically, Mr. Clean. And the advertisement says, this Mother's Day, get back to the job that really matters. And the worst part is not just that we see a woman portrayed in this ad, but we also see a little girl along with the women, already trying to tell the girls that this is what you need to be doing in the future. Next, again, is a very classic example of brands like Prestige, Preeti, always using women, and not just any women, but popular women from the media as their brand ambassadors. So this is a popular advertisement from a brand called Rin, a washing powder brand, and this woman is shown to be a career woman. So in spite of being a career woman, her attire has changed. The way she dresses up has changed, but nothing has changed when it comes to her household duty. So they are trying to say that even if you are a household woman, you have to take care of the chores as well. Nobody is going to be there to help you out. So the next issue that we are going to talk about is the representation of hyper masculinity and femininity. So if you look at women, there are certain traits which are constantly associated with women. So these are traits like being caring and nurturing, being very innocent and naive, and being very submissive, and especially submissive to men. Similarly, when you look at the portrayal of men, men are shown to be very dominating, very, very assertive and aggressive. In a lot of ads, we see men also portraying violent behavior, and we also see them doing a lot of adventurous tasks. So this again is a very popular advertisement from the apparel brand Lee. The first look of the advertisement does not make us feel that there is anything wrong about the ad. But when we carefully watch, we see that the man here, the boy here, seems to be in a very dominant position, directing the girl and instructing her something. So the boy is dressed in blue, again, a color which is associated with boys. And if you look at the girl, she is very brightly and vibrantly dressed. So this is an advertisement for a very popular luxury brand, Gucci, where the man seems to be very openly dominant, and he seems to be exerting his dominance on the woman, and she seems to be very fine with it, very cool with it. Her facial expression says that no, she has no problem with it. The next advertisement, this is actually a clipping from an advertisement. So again here, the first look does not seem to say that there's any gendered content, but you can actually see there is an association between this particular ad and this one. If you look at the man here, he seems to be holding the mobile phone, and he seems to be in front of the laptop. So which indirectly tells us that he is the member who takes all the decision in this household. So this is an advertisement for a finance brand, for a marketing brand. And you look at the woman, she plays a very passive role, and she is just there, behind the man. That's all. So coming to a very big issue, objectifying women. Objectification is nothing but reducing women to just objects, treating women as just objects and dehumanizing them. So if you see this advertisement for the liquor brand Budweiser, we see women bearing the logo of the brand just like billboards, bearing the logo on their body. What this is the epitome of objectification. Again, this is an advertisement for the brand Pita. All of you know what Pita stands for. And this ad and the women in this ad has nothing to do with the values of Pita. And the headline says, eating meat is a sin. Go vegetarian. So they're probably trying to associate this woman with the original sin, trying to portray her as Eve. But in spite of that concept, again, the concept is completely irrelevant. But in spite of the concept, why should a woman, a naked woman, be portrayed in an advertisement which tries to promote vegetarianism? Again, a very popular advertisement in India where we see a popular actress, Katrina Kaif, drinking slice. So when we look at most of the advertisements which show women consuming food, which show women eating or drinking food or beverages, it's never normal. It's never, like how we consume food. It's always hypersexualized. And this ad is a classic example for that. So this is an apparel brand, American Apparel. And if you see this particular advertisement, we can only see the legs of the women. And this is the concept of reductionism, reducing a woman to just body parts, mere body parts. And this, again, the position in which the body part is placed is, again, extremely vulgar. But a lot of other fashion related brands also do the same thing. They just showcase, they just focus on a particular body part of women and emphasize on it. Sometimes they even cut the head out of a woman. Imagine, head is the most important part of anybody's body, and head is where the brain is. So what are you trying to tell? The next issue is unrealistic body ideals. So, showing perfect women, showing perfect models. So this is no shape for a girl. So they are trying to reduce the lower, the self-esteem, lower the self-esteem of women by telling this is not how you're supposed to look, and this is how you are supposed to look. So, and not everybody can be perfect. And when you look at the perfection, the showcasing, the portrayal of perfection in these advertisements, most of it is edited, most of it is photoshopped. So these are not actually true in reality. So if you look at most such advertisements showcasing actresses like Alia Bhatt or Kareena Kapoor, even for actresses like them, these images are edited and photoshopped, and we are striving to become something which is not a reality, which is not something feasible. And with taglines like this, with headlines like how long since he said I love you. So this is again trying to lower your self esteem, trying to make women obsessed about the way they look and not accept whatever they have. The next and very important issue is the portrayal of violence against women. So for a long time, advertisements have been portraying very submissive women. This tells men that they can assert their dominance over women. I'm not just talking about the men in the advertisements. I'm talking about the men in reality. When they're constantly shown that women are submissive, they take advantage over the women in their own real life also. So if you see this particular advertisement, again, an example from Gucci, the man here is using his foot to stamp the woman and to, remove the women's clothes. Such a vulgar and regressive representation of women. So the ad here is actually showcasing bondage. So they have tied this woman to the shoe. And what are they even trying to tell here? They are promoting bondage, they are abusing the women, and they are reducing her to an object, again in this example. The next example can be called as the mother of all blunders. So this is an example from this brand called DNG, a very high-end fashion luxury brand. And if you look at the ad, what is it trying to provocate? So it's not just provocating sex, but it is also provocating, something which is wrong. They're provocating rape. And this is not just any rape scenario, it looks like a gang rape scenario trying to replicate a gang rape scenario. And these are normalizing such dangerous behavior against women. And finally, the concept of a superwoman who can do it all and have it all. So they can take care of their children, they can take care of their entire family, they can do the household chores, and they're also very good career women. So they're more or less like robots who can handle anything and everything. And how do they manage to do it? With the help of the products, with the help of the brands who are there to free them and who are there to liberate them. So this is a example of a television commercial where we see this woman who is a boss, who is the superior to his, to her husband in the office workplace. But she comes back to the home and she has to take care of the household chores. She has to take care of the cooking. So we don't know whether this is a one time thing or if it's just something that she's doing on a special occasion. But in a society where already women are expected to take care of everything, already women are expected to be good at their career, and also in taking care of the family, this is setting wrong standards, this is setting wrong ideals. So now, coming to the need for positive representation, there is no denial that this representation has to be changed and there needs to be a positive change. So first of all, from a brand's perspective, because people are changing, people are demanding more positive representation of women and also men. So this was an example from the campaign that Dove had in 2002. So the campaign is Real Beauty. So now if you look at this campaign, it led to 60% of rise in the sales of the Dove products. So, and imagine this ad, they're talking about real curves, and these women are not that curvy in fact. They're not that fat in fact. But in spite of that, this had a very drastic increase in sales because people are welcoming such changes. Though it is a small step, we need to go, a long way forward. But still, people are ready to accept this. So from branding perspective, it is very essential for brands also. And looking at the society, this is a very, very important and crucial change that we need. So the way in which we look at man, the way in which we look at women, how we treat women, how we respect women, everything is dependent on this portrayal. So it's high time we start to change this. So looking at the way forward, so first thing is media literacy. People should first be made aware that the portrayal that we see in these media content, we see in these advertisements are not real. This is not something which is happening in our society. Women are not meant to just do household chores. And why do they need these products and these brands to help them out? Where are the men in the family? Where are the others in the family? Why are they not helping them? So first, it is essential that people need to understand, people need to be educated and taught that this is not true, this is not the true scenario, and they have to also be made aware of what are the positive ways in which women can be portrayed. So that's one. The second thing is we need to have more gender neutral ads. For example, most of the products that we look at are gender neutral products, starting from your washing machines to real estate companies. These are all gender neutral products. Anybody can use a washing machine, anybody can wash clothes, but we see women in such products either as users or as objects to sell the product. So why do we need women there? So we need gender neutral ads for products which are also gender neutral. Okay, so we can just show the product and talk about the features, and it is up to the people, it is up to the consumers to decide whether they need the product or not. And the third one is seamless portrayal of non-stereotypical women. So there are few advertisements where women, career women especially, are shown in an exaggerated manner, telling that it is a big deal if you have reached a good position in your career. It is a very big deal. and we have moved past that stage. We need to have seamless and subtle portrayal of career women. Why should you include women, include feminism in every brand possible? Today they are talking about feminism, and they have a very bad concept of, they don't really get what feminism is. So we need to have women characters, strong women characters, career wise and family wise also, very strong, bold women characters. And this shouldn't be the center of attention of the ad. The product should always be the center of attention, but these characters are important so that the society indirectly gets the idea that we have reached equality. So but in reality, what right now what these ads are doing is they're creating a false sense of equality, a fake sense of equality, and this is not what we want. Okay, so finally all these small things can lead to a very big difference. So the way in which, like I said, the way in which we look at women, the way in which we respect women. We live in a society where women are constantly being abused. There's a lot of violent things which are happening against women, and it's high time we take a measure when it comes to their portrayal in advertisements, because these portrayal can have a very strong impact on whether this violence and this abuse against women, the rate is going to go either down or up, is going to be dependent on these portrayal also. Okay, so that is all for today, and thank you.